Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley reveals how Chloe feels about parents' return. Savannah Chrisley has revealed how Chloe Chrisley feels about their parents returning home. This has been the biggest news they have ever received. However, the children have been without their parents for years. So it is going to take some adjusting to get back to their normal lives as they lived them. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this. Savannah Chrisley fights for parents' freedom. Savannah Chrisley has been fighting for her parents' freedom since they were arrested. They were sent to federal prison for tax evasion and fraud. She has been supporting Donald Trump and trying to get him to pardon her parents since he was elected president. However, the journey has been long and tough. Julie had a resentencing hearing. However, she was denied a lesser sentence. Savannah and Grayson Chrisley got a call from Donald Trump yesterday, letting them know that he was going to pardon their parents and they would be home today. This is the time they have been waiting for. Now their family can be back together. Grayson was crying happy tears while on the phone with the president. She reveals how Chloe Chrisley feels about their return. Savannah Chrisley has revealed how Chloe Chrisley feels about the return of their parents. Chloe may not believe it until Todd and Julie are actually home and she sees them. Fans feel bad that she is still so nervous about the whole ordeal. However, she is going to be happy when she sees her parents reunited in their home. It seems as though Chloe is still in shock. She may not be able to process it until Todd and Julie are in front of her. She still thinks something bad is going to happen, and they are not going to get to come home or stay home. Fans feel bad for Chloe as she is on edge about the whole situation. However, her feelings will more than likely change when she sees Todd and Julie in person. For the Chrisley family, the past few years have been a dramatic, painful, yet profoundly transformational journey. A story filled with legal battles, forced separations, and the deep love that kept them united against all odds. At the center of this story is Savannah Chrisley, the 27-year-old who has become the de facto guardian for her young niece, Chloe Chrisley, while her parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, were serving time in federal prison. Today, Savannah is breaking her silence and opening up in vivid detail about how Chloe feels now that her parents are back home, physically present, emotionally available, and ready to reconnect with their family. The emotional homecoming that few could prepare for. It's hard to put into words what it felt like when we first walked into the room, and there were Mom and Dad standing there, free, able to be with us without a phone call, without plexiglass between us. Savannah's voice trembles a little, not from weakness, but from pure, raw happiness, a happiness that seemed elusive just a few years earlier. For Chloe, it was the moment we'd all been praying for. She fell into their arms immediately, not a moment's pause, not a hint of nervousness. In many cases, when children are separated from their parents under such dramatic conditions, for years, not days or weeks, there can be an initial awkwardness or a need to reconnect, to find their place in the family again. But for Chloe, it was pure, unhindered love. How Chloe coped during her parents' imprisonment. To appreciate the power of this reunion, it's worth understanding what the 11-year-old went through during her parents' absence. Chloe is a strong little soul, but this was hard on her, much more than we let the world see. Savannah fought hard to keep their home a place of stability and peace for Chloe. She maintained routines, school drop-offs, homework, dinner at the table, in a world that felt suddenly uncertain. It fell on me to be a parent when I hadn't finished growing up myself. Though Savannah tried her best to fill the roles of both sister and caregiver, there were moments when Chloe cried for her mom and dad, wondering when or if they'd come back. There were nights when she fell asleep holding a photo of her parents, a small, worn snapshot that seemed to connect her to them across a world of separation. The first phone call when the Chrisleys received their release papers ignited pure happiness in their home. I remember putting the phone on speaker. Everyone fell silent. And then we heard their voices, not through a phone from a federal phone bank, but from the outside world. That's when we knew it was real. For Chloe, this phone call was a turning point. She jumped up and down, tears of pure happiness rolling down her face. She insisted on making a huge welcome home poster with her own hands, choosing her favorite colors, adding glitter, and drawing tiny hearts all over it. It was her way of loving them back into her world, piece by piece. The first embrace after years apart. When the day of the reunion arrived, everyone was nervous, excited, unsure, a little fragile. The moment their eyes met, however, doubts fell away. It was pure happiness, pure peace, pure love. Savannah described it in cinematic detail, the way the two fell into each other's arms, ignoring all the chaos around them, ignoring the clicking of cameras and the questions from journalists. There were no words in that moment, just feeling. For a while, it felt like we were the only people in the world. Everything else fell away. It was just us. How Chloe is adjusting now that her parents are home. Adjustments after a dramatic reunion are expected. There are routines to be reestablished, relationships to be nurtured, and a deep understanding to be regained. A kind of getting to know you all over again. For Chloe, this meant gradually letting her guard down and trusting that this happiness was permanent. It's a process. At first, she'd constantly check in, making sure Mom and Dad were really there in the morning, at dinner, at bedtime. Savannah explained it was her way of making sure it wasn't all a dream. But slowly, safely, this nervousness fell away. The routines fell back into place, love flowed naturally once more, and the Chrisley home blossomed into a sanctuary of peace. The small, meaningful milestones that signify healing. Some might say it's the grand moments. The first dinner together, the first holiday, that show a family is healing. But for the Chrisleys, it's the small things. It's when Chloe feels comfortable enough to leave her bedroom door ajar at night. It's when she starts making plans for her future, like trying a new sport or choosing her classes for middle school. Savannah explained, those tiny choices, letting her guard down, thinking forward, show me more than any big moment that we're going to be okay. Savannah's hopes for the future. Savannah is protective of her family, fiercely so, and this deep love guides her future decisions. For me, the greatest hope is that we can move forward without fear, that we can appreciate each day we have together, without letting the past dictate our future. She talks about plans to create a loving, stable environment for Chloe, honoring not just her physical well-being, but her soul's happiness. I want her to grow up feeling supported, valued, and understood. Whatever she wants to be, a teacher, an athlete, an artist, we will be there cheering her on. The healing begins at home. Ultimately, the Chrisley story is about renewal, about a family nearly broken by circumstance, choosing to come back together and grow strong again. It's a messy process. It's painful and filled with doubts. But it's worth it. Savannah's testimony underscores this universal truth. The greatest love finds its way back, no matter how hard the road. For Chloe Chrisley, this means healing, peace, and a future filled with hope. The little girl who fell asleep crying into her photo album is now a young woman blooming in a loving home. A home where her parents' return has made all the difference.